Well, it's finally that time. The Jeep's all loaded up. We're out here at Saddle Mountain, and it is time to finally take our rooftop tent out for the very first time. Hello everybody, and welcome to Saddle Mountain. We are just a little ways west of Phoenix right now, and today we'll be heading a little further into the incredibly scenic Saddle Mountain area for what will be our first night in our new rooftop tent. If you haven't seen it yet, our last ZJ project video was about upgrading and reinforcing our roof rack system in order to hold the weight of the tent. So the point of this video will be to get out for our first night, open the tent up, figure out how all the things work on it, and most importantly, see how it sleeps. Right now we are actually already a couple of miles into the trail along the west side of the mountain. We came in off of Salome Highway, which is south of I-10. The trail is pretty popular with RVers in the cooler weather, but thanks to some decent washouts along the trail, we would have the area pretty much to ourselves as only high clearance vehicles can get to this point. Because we are already pretty close to the spot I want to camp at tonight, which is just a little ways up this valley here, we're not going to need to air down for this trip. From this clearing, I headed east, deeper into Saddle Mountain. The trail gets progressively rockier and narrower as it follows a fence line. The surrounding scenery got more impressive the further I drove along. Not long after, I arrived at the spot that I had picked out before and got out to survey the landscape. This spot here looked big enough to park the Jeep and set up a nice camp for the evening. Thanks to some recent rain, the desert was also surprisingly green. This narrow valley wasn't completely flat, but thanks to my new traction pads that I now carry with me on every trip, I was able to level the Jeep a little better. It is important to try and get the Jeep and the base of the tent as flat as possible, that way you can have a good night of sleep. But because this was my first time, it wasn't quite perfect, but it was good enough. At this point, it was already pretty late in the day. So we've made it out to a isolated campsite. The road in had quite a few washouts, which was actually good because there's a lot of RVs just on the other side of the hill here, and they're not able to get back into some of these pristine spots. So anyways, I wanted a location that was kind of close to town. That way, if something went wrong with the tent or with the Jeep or something where I needed to get back quick, I was able to. So I'm about 45 minutes from my house out here. Just wanted to get out and see what this thing's all about. There's still plenty of daylight, so I'm gonna get to setting it up here in just a minute, and then I'll take a walk around and explain why I got this tent and what it's all about. After taking some time to slowly open up the tent and figure out how everything works, it was now time to get the rest of camp set up. Because I was by myself, a basic camp would suffice. A little bit of firewood was stacked for later, the table and chair was set up, and that was about it. All right, so as you can see, we got the rooftop tent finally set up. It took a little bit of time because this was my first time fully opening everything up. So the whole point of this trip was to come out here, open everything up, test it out, see what works, what doesn't work. And after a little bit of time, I was able to get this all set up. And as far as other rooftop tents go, it's about middle of the pack as far as price and size. So you can get some tents that cost you on the cheaper end about $800 or $900 if you want to go the cheap route, or you could spend up to $2 to $3 grand on a rooftop tent. This one is about middle of the road in terms of price and size. So this thing is about the same size as a full-size bed, so it fits 2 people comfortably. Typically it's just me or one other buddy of mine when we're out camping, so this is going to be the perfect size for me and my friends, me and my cousin when he comes out, whatever the case may be. It's not too big and bulky when it's folded up, and it's fairly easy to set up. With the light now fading fast, there wouldn't be any time left today to play around with the tent annex, which is that separate room that hangs down from the base of the tent to the ground. And unfortunately, I would also not get to walk around the tent and investigate it until the morning hours. But right now, it was time to get on with some dinner and relaxation. All right, so we have finally got everything done and are sitting down to relax. So got all our food and drinks right there. Got a nice tasty beverage here to enjoy, and just looking around, enjoying the scenery. Definitely a little later than I anticipated being done, but I just wanted to take some time and mess around with everything, get familiar with it. And like I said earlier, every time I do this, I'm hoping to get a little bit quicker. I just wanted to get out here, figure out what was going on, and I think it's going to be a pretty good night. We're out here in the desert, so it's definitely not going to be too cold. I have a campfire here in a little bit, grab a quick bite to eat, and then just enjoy the evening. So in the morning is when we'll actually walk around the tent. I was hoping to do it tonight, this evening, but darkness definitely crept up a little bit faster than I was hoping, and I just wanted to get camp set up before focusing on talking about the tent. So we're just going to enjoy some nice tasty beverages here. We got our food there. Just going to be a nice quick trip today. I'm not going to cook anything on the stove. Just have some pre-packaged food to enjoy. And then in the morning we will talk more about the tents. With a small fire going and some quick dinner in me, it was nice to take some time, sit down, and relax. The moonlight and mostly clear skies made for some pretty nice views. A quick walk around camp with a black light revealed a few of my new neighbors for the night. The tent was now loaded up with all of my gear for the night, so I could hit the sack at any point. I opted to leave the rainfly off the tent and open all the windows to get a nice fresh breeze throughout the night. Throughout the evening, I would actually end up closing a few of those windows as it got a little bit windy. Late in the evening, I crawled up into the tent to settle down for the night, and I was able to fall asleep fairly quickly. The following morning's light revealed the spectacular and rugged hills of Saddle Mountain. The sun was just starting to peek up above the high peaks to the east, and a nice golden color began to fill the valley around me. I enjoyed the view for a while from inside the tent before eventually getting up and around. The nice part of this tent is that it has nice 360-degree visibility, and the floor-to-ceiling windows can be open as little or as much as you like, allowing you to sit and enjoy the unobstructed view. The weather was just right. Alright, good morning everyone. We have made it through the night, our very first night here up in the rooftop tent, and it was actually a pretty good night. You know, I didn't sleep the best just because I was still getting used to all of the noises. You know, it was pretty windy, at least probably about 2 or 3 in the morning. So all these flaps were blowing a little bit, but for the most part, I slept really good. I got woken up at about 5:30 by a coyote running through here, and stuff like that. And seeing the scorpions last night just make me feel so much better being up here. Just separated away from all that. There's a barrier between me sleeping peacefully and everything else going on. And then, of course, waking up to this tremendous view of Saddle Mountain was not bad either. After getting down from the tent and getting a little food in me, I was now able to walk around and explore the tent a little more. So this is a CVT Mount Shasta Standard Pioneer. It is made by Cascadia Vehicle Tents, which is not a sponsor, but they are out of Bend, Oregon, and like other rooftop tent companies, they're getting increasingly more popular. The tent is rated to sleep 2 people comfortably. When it's open, the tent is about 56 inches wide, 96 inches long, and 50 inches high. The sleeping area inside is about the same as a full-size bed. The 3-inch mattress in the base of the tent also provides a nice, comfy sleeping area. And the inside of the tent is surprisingly spacious. Each window has a heavy-duty outer canvas cover, in addition to a thin inner mesh screen, which is designed to keep the bugs out. 2 upper sky panels also allow you to look out at the stars at night while you sleep. Included with the tent is a heavy-duty rainfly and an annex room, which on this trip I didn't end up needing or using. The annex room is pretty cool and can be used as a changing room or even an extra sleeping area if needed. It is definitely something I want to play around with in the future. The ladder is adjustable based on the height of your vehicle and helps you open and close the tent, as well as helps hold the tent up while you're sleeping in it. The tent folds down pretty well, and when combined with the travel cover is only about 15 inches high off of the base of the roof rack. The nice thing is that you can leave your sleeping bag inside of the tent while traveling, so next time when you get to camp, all you need to do is pop it open and you're ready to sleep almost immediately. With the morning now wearing on, it was time to start breaking down the camp and getting ready to head back home. I closed up the tent, strapped it down, and then put on the travel cover before hitting the road. The few miles of dirt trail back to the paved road had a few washouts, but for the most part was nice and easy. While I was driving, the roof rack and tent did not move one bit, which means it was functioning just like it was designed to do. And that's it for this trip. This was meant to be just a simple and quick adventure out to see how the tent works and how it does when I'm actually out on a trip. Overall, even after just one night, I am really liking how it works, and I can't wait to start getting out some more. The convenience of the tent setup and breakdown is really nice, and the quality of sleep, I think, is definitely better than being on the ground. Definitely a quick trip today, but I wanted to stay fairly close to home while still being in a nice scenic location, so I hope you enjoyed watching at least the first of many new adventures. Next week's video will be a little bit more about why I chose a rooftop tent specifically, and then after that we will be getting into more of the kind of full-time off-road and overland adventuring with the new camp and Jeep setup, which I am absolutely loving more and more by the minute. Thanks for watching this, and we'll be back out on the trails again real soon.